When we reached Gaza, we had more than 50 wedding rings given to us by poor women by the side of the road who had nothing to give us except the wedding ring on their finger, which they forced through the windows of our convoy. In Algeria, one fellahin, one peasant, old man, he begged me to take him in the back of my vehicle to Gaza. I told him I have to sleep in the back of this vehicle. There is no room in this vehicle. Anyway, they are not short of fellahin in Gaza. What do you want to do there? He said, I just want to tell them that when they bleed, we bleed. When they cry, we cry. I just want to be there to tell them that our hearts are broken with theirs. This was the spirit of the Arab people, the Muslim people of the Maghreb. Duty requires me to say, although I'm not a supporter of the government or the system in Libya any more than any of the other governments, but Libya was the only country where the government and the people truly welcomed us. And the son of Gaddafi himself asked me, how many vehicles do you have in your convoy? I told him 110. He said, now you have 220. He doubled the size of our convoy, which became now more than 2 miles long. Can you imagine it? Going through the desert, a convoy more than 2 miles long, headed for Gaza. And then we reached Egypt. People asked me, why did you take such a long way around? Why didn't you sail from Europe to Alexandria and make a short drive? I told them because I wanted to give the government of Egypt plenty of time to think about us. And it worked. It was very successful, because by the time we reached Saloum, the crossing point between Libya and Egypt, we discovered that we were now the official guests of the ruling National Democratic Party in Egypt. And that's very important. They're a very popular party. They get 99% of the votes in all the elections in Egypt. Suddenly we were the guests of the government of Egypt, having been told in advance that we would not be allowed to cross Egypt. Now everywhere I went, there was a picture of President Hosni Mubarak behind me. It didn't mean that we didn't have troubles in Egypt. We had many troubles in Egypt. But I don't dwell on them in public, because we have to go back to Egypt. Again and again and again we have to go back to Egypt until we have ended this siege. Because, brothers and sisters, this is an Arab siege of Gaza. It's not an Israeli siege. It's an Arab siege of Gaza. They have a border with an Arab and Muslim country, the greatest of all the Arab countries, the heart of the Arab world. And it has a gate. And if that gate was open, nobody would be hungry. Nobody would be without clothes. Nobody's house would still be destroyed and not able to be rebuilt if this gate was open. So after a long journey, and on the birthday of the Prophet, peace be upon him, we arrived in Gaza and kissed the holy ground of Palestine. And all of Gaza came out to receive us. All 1,500,000 had been on the streets the entire day waiting for our convoy. It doesn't make up for Balfour. But the sight of a British convoy and British flags being received by all of Gaza was a very significant event. And then I met this little girl, and she asked me, where is this Arab world that they teach us about in schools? And where is this Ummah that they teach us about in the mosque? I told her this. I told her, I'm going to the United States of America in 2 weeks. And I'm going to return with hundreds of American trucks flying the American flag, filled with aid. And we're going to come through that gate in Gaza with an even bigger convoy than the one with which I entered on this visit. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here because I love America, though I do. No, I do. I am the great grandson of the only woman in the whole of the 19th century who emigrated from America to Scotland. Thousands were sailing in the opposite direction, but my great-grandmother, it's there in the papers, emigrated from New York City to Dundee in Scotland. And if you'd ever seen Dundee, you'd know what a peculiar decision that was. But that's what she did. And if she hadn't, I wouldn't exist, and I wouldn't be here telling you that I do genuinely love America. Because I hated George W. Bush doesn't mean that I hated America or hated the people of America. Not at all. But I do feel that America owes the Palestinians something. After all, it's normally death which comes in the colors of America for the Palestinians. And so, I'm traveling back and forward here. Trust me, I have no idea what time it is. For me, it's 2:10 in the morning. I'm leaving my duties, my family, maybe my health. I'm flying back and forward across the Atlantic every week. I'm in a different city, a different state every day, in order to make this American convoy, which will leave when else but the 4th of July, America's birthday. And it's much easier for you. You don't have to drive there. You can't. You don't have to sleep in the back of your vehicle like me for 23 days. All you have to do is raise money and get to New York City to fly out on the 4th of July to Cairo and take possession of vehicles which we will have pre-bought with your money from the Egyptians in Cairo, fill the trucks with medical aid, put an American flag on the front of your truck and drive to Gaza. And people ask me, will President Mubarak allow this convoy of hundreds of American vehicles to cross into Palestine? I say, there is no government stupid enough to stand in the way of hundreds of American trucks trying to bring life to the people of Palestine. He will allow it, all right. Trust me on that. He might have more difficulty with the next one I'm organizing. The President Hugo Chavez Viva Palestina convoy from Caracas to Gaza. Especially if President Chavez is there at the front of the convoy. What do you think his reception would be like in Cairo? Wallahi, they might make him the President of Egypt. But the American convoy, no problem. So, you have to go to our website, vivapalestina-us.org, O-R-G.